From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Fighting breaks out in the state capitol after a tense hearing over Arizona's election debacle. We have team coverage on the next steps for state and county election officials.
I'm here on Capitol Hill, where the entire congressional complex was on lockdown for a short but tense period due to reports of shots being fired. We'll have the entire report coming up soon.
You may be familiar with instruments like the piano and guitar, but what about a video game controller? How one professor is creating a new music experience.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Jackie Padilla. And I'm Jessie Schultz. Thanks for joining us. Shouting, grilling, and booing, not your typical meeting of the House Elections Committee at the state capitol today. Record numbers of people came to speak out about the presidential preference election debacle. Reporter Sydney Glenn is at the Capitol to tell us just what happened in the hearing room.
Maricopa County Recorder Helen Purcell and Secretary of State Michelle Reagan were grilled at the House of Representatives today. Outbursts and anger from the public as both apologized and tried to shed some light on just what happened last week at the presidential preference election. One person was even arrested this afternoon. Fights broke out and security stepped in as the session came to a close. Many called for a revote. This public hearing was filled with outbursts, chants, cheering, booing, and turned backs as attempts were made to calm down the crowd.
Audience?
Oh, come on. This is nothing compared to what you do in Europe. Your rules. You're a big girl.
The hearing began when Maricopa County Recorder Helen Purcell took the stand. She began by apologizing.
It was my responsibility to put this election on in Maricopa County, and we obviously made some mistakes.
With only 60 polling places in Maricopa County, people said that they waited hours and hours to vote. Secretary of State Michelle Reagan said that this isn't a primary and Arizona needs to decide what to do next.
We need to make that fundamental decision. Is it going to be a primary or is it not? And if it's going to be a primary, then we need to start treating it like every other primary we treat in the state.
The Secretary of State also said her staff is looking into the allegations that people's party designations were changed, keeping them from voting, even though they were eligible. And outside, more people came to share their outrage.
I believe that everyone should be afforded the right to vote, and what happened in Arizona last week on Tuesday was a complete travesty.
And Adrian Fontes, who hopes to take Helen Purcell's job, also spoke out.
Our fundamental rights as all Americans, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, were violated in a significant and some would say sinister way last Tuesday.
The public hearing went on for about 4 hours, and just moments ago, I saw what I believe to be the last group of people leaving. Live at the Capitol, I'm Sydney Glenn, Cronkite News.
State officials at all levels are now having to answer for last week's voting disaster. Earlier this morning, Secretary Reagan's office presented their preliminary findings on the election. Cronkite News reporter Ben Marjot was at the tense press conference at the Capitol.
Almost a week after so-called Votergate, Secretary Reagan was not ready to take full personal responsibility for the disaster that left voters in line until past midnight.
I certainly, obviously, I certainly wish that we had said, you should consider 90, maybe you should consider 100.
A visibly flustered Secretary Reagan confirmed this morning her office did know that Maricopa County only had 60 polling places, but no one in her office was alarmed or concerned by that fact, and her office never advised county officials.
I did not second guess the county decision or the Board of Supervisors decision. Because we don't have the statutory authority to direct the counties as far as voting locations.
But the law says otherwise. ARS 16248 says, if it is determined by the Secretary of State that compliance with state and federal regulations would be jeopardized, the Secretary of State has the authority to release a county from the number of polling places prescribed by this section.
Had we mentioned that, the counties have no obligation to even consider what the Secretary of State offers. We have no jurisdiction over what the counties do regarding polling places.
Reagan continued to deflect blame throughout the press conference and tiptoed around accepting personal responsibility for the voting fiasco.
I believe we're all in this together, absolutely, and I take responsibility for the fact that election officials did not pull off the election that voters deserved.
And Secretary Reagan did say the areas most affected were Maryvale, South Phoenix, Tempe, and Gilbert, and that her office would be having public meetings in each of those areas in the weeks to come. Ben Marjat, Cronkite News.
The Republican and the Democratic presidential candidates are preparing for the Wisconsin presidential primaries on April 5th. For the Democrats, 86 delegates are at stake. They will be allocated proportionally. The Republican winner in Wisconsin will take all 42 delegates up for grabs. Looking at current standings, Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders now has 1,004 delegates after big wins over the weekend in Washington State, Alaska, and Hawaii. Hillary Clinton is still in the lead despite the losses. She has 1,712 delegates. On the Republican side, the delegate count stands at 739 for frontrunner Donald Trump. Ted Cruz has 465 delegates. John Kasich is last with 143 delegates. At the U.S. Capitol today, there was a lockdown after a man pulled a gun at the Capitol Visitors Center, and hundreds of tourists and government workers were told to shelter in place. Cronkite News reporter Wafa Shahid reached out to our Arizona delegation and joins us live with the latest.
The congressional offices we were able to reach said they couldn't see much, but they were doing exactly what police told them to do: shelter in place while the shooting was investigated. At 2:39 p.m., Capitol Police say a gunman entered the Capitol Visitor Center, and during the routine screening, he drew a gun and pointed it at police. An officer shot the suspect, who was rushed to the hospital. No officers were harmed, but a bystander, described as a 35 to 45-year-old woman, suffered minor injuries and was also being treated at the hospital.
Based on the initial investigation, we believe that this is an act of a single person who has frequented the Capitol grounds before, and there is no reason to believe that this is anything more than a criminal act.
Congress is on recess this week, so few lawmakers are around. One of the offices we talked to said everybody was safe and accounted for. Live in Washington, Wafa Shahid, Cronkite News.
Arizona ranks among the top 10 when it comes to car theft in the U.S. Reporter Brandy Henry has been investigating why car thefts are suddenly on the rise.
Auto theft has been a significant problem in Arizona, a problem that results in an $86 million economic loss for the state. The state's Automobile Theft Authority reports that Arizona ranks 8th in the country for the total number of cars stolen each year. Mike Hassan's car has been stolen not only once, but twice.
The first car that I got stolen was a Toyota Camry. I think it's more so strain on the person who got the car stolen, who they got the car stolen from, you know.
The Auto Theft Authority ranks the Toyota Camry number 8 out of 10 cars most commonly stolen in Arizona. Others in the top 10 include Honda Civics and Accords, Chevrolet, Ford, and Dodge pickups, and Nissan Sentras and Altimas.
It happens at malls, it happens at medical facilities, hospitals. You just never know when this can happen. If you look across everything, auto theft, it can happen anywhere.
Last year, the Auto Theft Authority said more than 17,000 cars were stolen.
Know what's around you. If you're going to park your vehicle somewhere, park it somewhere where there's a lot of light.
In Arizona, auto theft has become a transnational crime, with theft rings stealing cars from almost anywhere to transport drugs and contraband on both sides of the border.
We're going to try to find out if there's people in the area that are living in the area that have done things like this in the past.
Alberto Gutierrez of the Governor's Office of Highway Safety Director and former board member of the AATA says engraving your VIN number in multiple places on your car can help.
Your car is protected by actually engraving your VIN number, your vehicle identification number, into different windows, which means that people say, "Oh, gee, this car won't be good to steal."
But it's just a life lesson and stuff, and you got to just go on and just try to be mindful, the next time.
Some helpful reminders to ensure your car's safety are to get an alarm, lock your doors, know your surroundings, and park in well-lit areas. Brandy Henry, Cronkite News.
South American soccer is coming to the Valley, and it's predicted to be the biggest soccer tournament in the U.S. since the 1994 World Cup. Coming up on Cronkite News, who is planning to attend the Centennial Copa America and how it could affect Glendale's economy? Arizona's Navajo Nation is rich with tradition and culture, but what happens when they move from their native lands? How tribe members hold on to culture, even in cities like Washington, D.C.
We are here tonight to explore tough issues.
You've got to have people around you who aren't just laying rose petals in front of your way.
And I kid you not, this is true.
Trust is everything.
This has been so much fun.
It's about reaching people.
There are more players on the world stage. The issues are more complex.
We ask the questions that take us closer to the truth.
What happened and what might happen.
Because that's what we do.
Would you like doing something like I do?
I couldn't do this. I'm not qualified.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
A Navajo Nation lawmaker proposed creating a tribal holiday to honor tribal chairmen and presidents. Davis Filfred wants the third Friday in March to be called Navajo President's Day. Tribal employees would receive a paid day off. The Navajo Nation currently observes 13 federal and tribal holidays that fall in every month except March. 2,000 miles from home, natives of Arizona's Navajo Nation work and live in the nation's capital. Cronkite News reporter Katie Bieri learned how they celebrate their culture in a city of concrete.
So are we happy to be here? Yeah.
For natives of Arizona's Navajo Nation, home will always be the Grand Canyon State.
We try and go back to Arizona as much as we can. It's really important for us to teach Evan about where he comes from.
That's why these Navajo natives insist on celebrating their culture in a city of concrete. Brassi's husband Jackson is the executive director of Washington, D.C.'s Navajo Nation office.
Washington, D.C. is so much different than the rest of Arizona, than the Navajo Nation. It's really great for us that are really away from our home communities.
So, to avoid forgetting their culture, they're teaching the younger generation traditional crafts and activities.
I didn't know there was this many people out in DC.
Like piecing together these traditional hair ties.
This is the finished product called a tsiyesh. Your strands of hair are like thoughts. So if you let them just fall out, then your mind kind of runs wild. So
Dozens proved that home knows no boundaries, and a nation's reach can span beyond borders. In Washington, Katie Bieri, Cronkite News.
Arizona is known for its Western culture, and Tombstone gives visitors a taste of the Wild West. During a shooting reenactment, things got wilder than expected when one actor filed real bullets. The Cochise County Attorney's Office said that today, that actor will not be prosecuted. The shooting took place during a reenactment like the one you see here. The county attorney's office determined the shooting was an accident, not a crime, but said the performers need better protocol for ammunition checks. The man shot last October has since recovered from his injury. Tombstone now requires businesses to obtain permits to conduct shooting reenactments. The University of Phoenix Stadium will host the 2016 Copa America soccer tournament this summer. The tournament is being held outside of South America for the first time in history and is expected to attract huge crowds. Reporter Anthony Marroquin shows us what that could mean for Glendale's economy.
Our colors and our branding.
Marco Medina is an avid Mexican national team soccer fan.
The prospect of seeing your team score a goal that, when it finally happens, you almost go into a euphoria.
He's part of Pancho Villa's Army, or PVA, a fan group that travels with Mexico's national team in the United States.
Soccer is like an opiate of the people.
So when PVA heard that Mexico would open the Copa America with a game against Uruguay here in Glendale, the group did not wait to buy tickets.
You kind of lose yourself in what you're seeing in front of yourself.
And they're not alone. Soccer United Marketing announced that it's expecting close to 2 million people to attend the tournament. That means that games like the Mexico match here in Glendale could see numbers that rival the Super Bowl.
If it's a quarter, I mean, if it's like a normal football game, a Cardinal game, we'd be real happy.
Alan Cryer is a managing partner at Opa Life Greek Cafe. He said the Coyotes' losing streak cost them customers, and that he and other businesses in Glendale are happy to see any spike in business during the slow summer months.
On a weekday, it's 2,000 to 2,500 in that range. It's a good number.
But it all depends on the passion and number of soccer fans who show up to cheer on their team.
For those 90 minutes, it's so surreal to kind of be in an atmosphere where people are putting all their kind of hopes and dreams into, what's happening in front of them. But I don't know, you can't really put the exact word to do it justice.
In Glendale, I'm Anthony Marroquin, Cronkite News.
We live in what's being called the digital era, and now even your music is digital. But one professor wants to take it one step further. Coming up on Cronkite News, how one Arizona State University professor is using sounds like these to change the way you listen to music.
When I was 12 years old, I was watching great performances on PBS. This program with Nureyev came on. Nureyev in a performance of Le Corsaire, and I was amazed and awestruck. I really wanted to do it. I was street dancing at the time, and I never thought of formal dance until I saw great performances. I knew that I was really a novice to dance, like high dance. I decided to check out the High School Performing Arts. And so one thing led to the next. Today, as a recognized dancer, I absolutely believe that when I saw the performance, it affected me tremendously. And I know that's what happens when I teach. I'm opening an option for them that they hadn't seen before.
Some students in the Valley experienced their first day of AZ merit testing when they showed up to the school today. The state uses the test to see how the students in schools are measuring up in English, language arts, and math. Paper-based testing runs through April 8th and computer-based testing through May 6th. Students can take practice tests online at azmeritportal.org. It's now easier to be an Arizona math teacher. Arizona officials opted today to simplify the test for prospective math teachers due to a statewide teacher shortage. The State Board of Education will now test only foundational level math courses, not subjects like trigonometry and calculus. People interested in teaching higher level courses still need to pass the existing assessment. Payson Mayor Kenny Evans announced his endorsement of Proposition 123 today, saying it will help Payson Public Schools for years to come. If passed, Prop 123 would provide the Payson Unified District with nearly $500,000 additional dollars in funding for 2016. Mayor Evans said of Proposition 123 that, quote, it's going to put $3.5 billion into K-12 public education over the next 10 years without raising taxes. I know how much that's going to mean to Payson residents. Their kids are going to have more stability in the classroom and a better education without a tax increase. As digital music technology continues to advance, the possibilities are endless for musicians to create new and exciting audio experiences. But Cronkite News reporter Audrey Wheel shows us that digital music is about more than just sound.
New to Arizona State University, Professor Lauren Hayes brought with her the practice of multisensory music, which means adding visuals and movement to digital sound to create an all-encompassing experience for both performers and listeners. Nothing is as it seems for Professor Lauren Hayes. That's because anything can be an instrument.
I got this for about $8. It's just a generic controller.
All part of her work to create a multisensory music experience with digital sound.
When I started performing with laptops, I would just click a button and hear this loud sound, and there was no correlation between the physical energy and the sounds that I was hearing. So I started to look at ways to find meaning in my actions and the sounds that I was producing.
This may look like an ordinary couch, but it's actually vibrating to the sensations of the music playing in the room. It's just one of Hayes' many multi-sensory projects. She also built her own music software connected to that video game controller, wears an armband that receives audio feedback while she's performing, and improvises with a ball called an alpha sphere made of elastic pads. Instruments that look much different from the classical piano she grew up playing. But Hayes says it's not that far off.
As anyone who plays an instrument knows, you make use of constantly sensory feedback that you get through your body. So whether it's the force that you have to press a violin string or the vibrations you get through piano keys, which constantly inform the performer of how to make their next sound.
In addition to being able to translate that sound to an audience or even other performers. And she's teaching these ideas to the next generation of digital musicians.
As a musician, and especially like an electronic musician, it's really cool to get to know the history of digital sound and how electronic sound has evolved and all the different things that have come out of it.
Musicians all over the world are working on similar technologies. Prior to coming to ASU, Hayes worked in the UK, using her instruments to bring music to people with sensory impairments, learning difficulties, and autism. In the Media Center, Audrey Wheel, Cronkite News.
Being able to read to your child could increase their literature studies in the future. But what happens to families who can't afford books? Coming up on Cronkite News, how companies are using what looks like giant birdhouses to give every child access to books.
Heaven knows you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life. This is what counts. This is for us. I will go anywhere for you.
Books are something many of us take for granted, but literacy advocates say in low-income communities, there is only one book for every 300 kids. Cronkite News reporter Lauren Michaels shows us how companies are getting involved to change that.
They're called Little Free Libraries, and they're popping up across the valley. With about 30 already registered, local companies are getting involved to help increase that number by the end of the year.
At first glance, it may seem like another woodworking project, but for Phoenix High School teacher Don Krug, building his own Little Free Library means so much more because of his firsthand experience.
The kids come into school, and because they haven't had the exposure to books and they haven't been read to, they come in below where they should be at for comprehension.
This is Krug's way of making a change outside his classroom.
As a teacher, you're always trying to reach out, and like I said earlier, this is an opportunity to reach out to a whole different group of kids, and I get to do it through my hobby. It's like it's a win-win-win.
Krug found out about the project from where he buys his supplies. The local wood supply company is among many helping to build community libraries. Woodworkers Source is a family-owned business, which let customers know about the Little Free Library project by creating a competition.
This gives them a chance to build something for our community at large that other people can enjoy, thousands of people can enjoy throughout the entire year.
Southwest Human Development, a nonprofit here in the Valley, has helped enlist the local support of PetSmart, Shutterfly, and others to give children easy access to books.
What we're seeing is kids showing up in kindergarten unprepared to learn. They don't have those basic early literacy skills that are so important.
The goal? To build 100 Little Free Libraries by the end of this year.
We actually have a little kit that these organizations use as a team building opportunity and a way to give back. Every single library that's come back has been its own unique piece of, almost piece of artwork.
Once a Little Free Library is complete, it's placed in a neighborhood like this one. Fully stocked with books, children can take one or return one.
Krug has already donated his little wooden library.
Literacy is just so extremely important for people to be successful in the world. I just feel so fortunate. I am where I am today because I know how to read.
And there are more than 36,000 Little Free Libraries around the world. You can check out our story on cronkitenews.azpbs.org to see if there's a registered library near you. Lauren Michaels, Cronkite News.
A big announcement from the Cronkite School today. CBS Evening News anchor and managing editor Scott Pelley was chosen to receive the 2016 Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism. Cronkite School Dean Christopher Callahan said Pelley represents Cronkite's values of accuracy, objectivity, and integrity. Pelley joined CBS in 1989 and has a long history of reporting war and politics. He became the anchor of CBS Evening News in 2011. Pelley accepts the award in November. Tickets for the luncheon are on sale now. Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, the chairman of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors talks about the county's dust-up with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Maysoon Zayed, one of the very few female Muslim American comedians, joins us in studio.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next NewsHour, we report from Iraq as the battle rages to control the key city of Mosul. That's Monday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us. For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.